in here on a Monday, giving you the hottest show in the streets, covering your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to have you guys checking us out on today. Bama on a bye week, but we do not sleep over here at TDA, pumping you out consistent coverage every single time. We're bringing you the show from the Magic City of Birmingham, streaming it to you on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, hit that subscribe button, smash subscribe right now. Get every friend, every family member, every casual Bama fan, diehard Bama fan, consumer of Bama football to subscribe. Also, hit that like button, give us that thumbs up, leave a like on the show. Let's get this right now. 50 likes to start us off, people. I appreciate all the support from you guys, making this your platform, channel, space to talk Alabama football. Also, donations, all donations appreciated, all donations welcome. But if donation not your thing there, definitely support hitting that like button, giving us that thumbs up here, making this your place to talk Crimson Tide football. You also turn on those notifications, hit that little bell to make sure you miss nothing when it comes to your Bama football news. We got Jimmy Clay in the building with that $28 donation. Appreciate the love there from my man Jimmy Clay, helping us out here on the show. We got you covered here on Facebook and Twitter as well, streaming to you the show. And got a lot to discuss today, and want to hear from you, the passionate fans of Bama football. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358, the number to call in to let your voice be heard, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. Appreciate all of you guys. Gotta give a shout out to Alabama women's soccer, SEC regular season champions, Coach West and the guys, the team doing a great job. Alabama women's soccer getting that SEC regular season title, and Team 27 for Alabama softball getting that thing cranked up there, and looking forward to what they do when the season kicks off for them. Also got to give a shout out to my wife, the lovely Miss Mia Smith, celebrating her 30th birthday on today. So happy birthday to my wife. She's at home celebrating the birthday on today. Appreciate her for all that she does. Got to shout out my man Bill from New York with that $5 donation, the Super Chats. Big Bill helping us out here on the show, showing love. So, Eli, without further ado, let's jump to the conversation right now and starting this thing off with what we learned, what we took away from Alabama's win over Mississippi State on homecoming last week. 30-6, the final score at Bryant-Denny. Bama coming so close to getting its second shutout of the season there. But things we took away from the matchup as Coach Saban and the Crimson Tide improving to 7-1 on the year. Unfortunately, still remained at number 6 there in the latest AP poll that came out on Sunday. Still, the teams ahead of Alabama, you can look at Michigan ahead of Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, programs like that. But Alabama still in position right there, 7-1 on the year. But the things we took away, number one, recovery could not have come at a better time for Bryce Young. After sustaining the sprained AC joint to his throwing shoulder against Arkansas, he he did not play against Texas A&M, but he played in back-to-back games against Tennessee and against Mississippi State. So now that recovery, that rest and recovery to get Bryce back at 100% couldn't have come at a better time and how the schedule had it set up for him to have this bye week this week. Right with that, Eli Ricks needs to be the starter. Eli Ricks showed over the weekend, I'm a baller, I'm a lockdown corner, I can take away a whole side of the field. He clamped down Mississippi State wide receivers. I understand it's one game, just one game, but against a team in the Southeastern Conference that loves to throw the football, that being the Bulldogs under Mike Leach. Will Rogers had 60 pass attempts. Eli Ricks was targeted quite a few times, shut down his side of the field. He needs to be a starter going forward. Tyler Harrell is not an urban myth. He is real. He is real. Got on the field against Mississippi State. Got a catch there in the fourth quarter from one Jalen Milroe. As he continues to grow and develop and get more comfortable within this offense, we can see more of him moving down the stretch of this season. Will Riker got his swing back, got his groove back, kicking field goals, made all three of his kicks, including a 50-yarder against Mississippi State. It was good to see Will Riker back right, nailing, making those field goals there. And last but not least, the Alabama offense still trying to find itself. Not the most dominant performance, found a way to do enough and win, but Coach Saban still mentioning, got to be able to run the ball more, take the air out of the ball, take the air out of the game for that matter. So the Crimson Tide's offense still finding itself. But first and foremost with Bryce Young, like I mentioned, this rest and recovery couldn't have come at a better time for Bryce than right now, because you think about it, you come off this bye week, you go to LSU, you go to Baton Rouge, you need Bryce Young on full tilt, on all go, like all gas, no brakes. Like you need Bryce Young ready for this matchup against LSU, because Jayden Daniels seems to have found something for LSU as a quarterback. Brian Kelly seems to have this team now trending in the right direction after a season opening loss to Florida State. LSU put it on Ole Miss last week. The final score was 45-20. So going down to the Bayou, where you being Alabama, you haven't lost there since 2010. You got to have Bryce Young on full go ready. So him having this bye week, rest up, recover, get that throwing shoulder 100% right, could not have come at a better time than right now. When you look at Eli Ricks, the young man balled out. I mean, I understand first game, first start, but you could just tell he belonged out there. He deserved to be out there. He needed to be out there. And you as Bama Nation, you guys are wondering, was Saban just trying to reserve this guy for the second half of the season? Like, what the heck is going on? Like, if this is the type of performance we saw from Ricks and we were going to get from Ricks, why was he not out there Texas? Why was he not out there Texas A&M? Why was he not out there Tennessee? Like, why was he not out there? I mean, the brother gave an energy that this defense has not had all season. Every pass breakup, he's getting up yelling and screaming and animated and having fun. Like, he brought that boss dog energy that you need to have from this defensive secondary. I mean, the way Eli Ricks played, it inspired Kool-Aid McKinstry, it inspired DeMarco Helms, it inspired Brian Branch. Heck, it inspired Malachi Moore, who had 2 or 3 pass breakups in the matchup. So Eli Ricks, shutdown corner, Pro Football Focus is talking about him. After his first start, made one of the defensive players of the week from the Alabama coaching staff. He needs to be the guy moving forward. He showed you, give me an opportunity, I'm going to show you who I am. And he clamped down on receivers, gave up 1 catch for 19 yards. That was it for Eli Ricks there on the field. Needs to start moving forward. Moving on down here to Tyler Harrell, like I mentioned, no longer a urban myth. He is real. Number 8 took the field. First time for Alabama, making his debut against Mississippi State. Caught a pass, 12 yards in the fourth quarter from Jalen Milroe. And so Alabama is getting receivers healthy at the right time. JoJo Earl came back against Arkansas after having his foot issue in fall camp. JoJo Earl against Mississippi State caught a touchdown pass in that game. Bryce Young directing traffic, found him in the back of the end zone. Now you get Tyler Harrell on the field. You're getting him going. And as he gets more comfortable within the offense in a game situation, in action on the field, Alabama's going to be able to go to him and trust him and get him the football, and we can be able to see the speed that we've all been talking about going back to when he transferred in the summer from Louisville. So the good news is, people, is Harrell's real, right? You're not catfished. He's real. He got on the field, made the catch there against Mississippi State. So now it's him getting more comfortable, getting more acclimated within the offensive system, getting more reps in there in terms of games on the field. The next one here, in terms of what we learned, Will Riker. We will take this away. He's back. I mean, he's good. Swinging the ball, swing good, kicking good, ball bending. After, the missed field goal against Tennessee, missed opportunities there against Texas A&M, Riker back on point this past week. 3 for 3 on field goals, including a 50-yarder against Mississippi State that could have been good from 60 yards. Now, the thing with the kicking game is sometimes you can strike the ball well. You can have great form, you can hit the ball well, but the ball may not bend the way you want it to or the way it should toward the end of the kick there. But I kind of equate kicking to golf. When you're trying to hit the putt, when you're trying to hit the fairway, you're trying to hit the green, you're trying to go for that eagle, that birdie shot on the back nine there. Sometimes you have to have that ball bend correctly. So same thing with kicking here. You got to have that ball bend correctly. And for Will Riker, got it back going there this past week against Mississippi State. His confidence back right as it needs to be there for Alabama moving forward here through the season. So last but not least here, the Alabama offense still trying to find itself. Not the most dominant performance, and yes, it did enough to win the game, but you still have fans looking at Bill O'Brien going, okay, this play calling is awful. The routes these receivers are running, no, that's not it. The situations that you're putting Bryce Young in. Have y'all noticed a lot of Bryce Young's big plays are off script? It's nothing that Bill O'Brien's calling. A lot of Bryce Young's big plays are off script where he's running for his life, he's under pressure, he Houdinis his way through about 5 or 6 sacks, he's directing traffic as he's doing this, and he pulls a rabbit out of a hat throwing a touchdown or throwing a first down pass. Like, have y'all noticed that? Am I the only one that knows that the plays where Bryce Young just goes nuts are the ones that are off script? Not what Bill O'Brien's doing. It's what's off script. So you still have U.S. the Bama Nation wondering, why is Bill O'Brien in Tuscaloosa? Like, why is he here? Like, right now? Like, why is that man here? But I digress from that statement. Alabama's offense trying to still find itself in terms of running the football consistently and having an offensive balance that it will need, especially if it's trying to run the table here in the SEC West. But we take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting started, baby, on a Monday. When we get back, we go to the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Light us up. We want to hear from you after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, guys, we're rocking and rolling in here to the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of TDA on a bye week for Alabama, but we here. TDA doesn't believe in bye weeks. We're still here, putting down this content for you as we do here. Don't forget to get that thumbs up, hit the like button on the show, run those likes up, get in this show right now. 50 likes right now. Appreciate all of you guys hitting that thumbs up, making this your show, your network platform channel space to talk Crimson Tide football. Also, all donations welcome. All donations appreciated. Thanks to you, the Bama Nation, for making this show special, for making this show what it has become and what it is. We go to the phone lines right now to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, it's Tim from Baton Rouge.
Tim, what's happening, man?
Not a whole lot. Getting ready for the Tide to roll through here, through our city. I'm ready.
Absolutely, man. It comes in November 5th, man. Comes in next week.
Hey, I get a lot of clap, but we hold our ground here in Baton Rouge, and I get a lot of flack from the Tiger fans, but it's okay. But I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the game. And I just was wondering, as well as Eli Ricks played, and I'm wondering if, and a lot of fans, they have to realize it's not just your performance on the field. There's other things that you have to do to get on the field, whether it's making meetings on time. So there's a lot of things that we don't know, maybe classroom work or something. But it had to be something for him not to be on the field. So I'm just glad that he's on the field, and I think he needs to stay on the field. He did an outstanding job. And I also want to talk to you about our lack of running game that we had. I noticed that McLaughlin didn't start, and usually when he don't play, we usually struggle running the ball. What do you think about that, Steve?
Well, Tim, I know Dalcourt got one big block there on Jahmyr Gibbs' touchdown run, but I agree. When McLaughlin's not out there, it's a different offensive line. When he's out there, they're better run blocking. They're more physical run blocking. They're meaner run blocking. And then to me, I go back to something that, Justin Smith, who does a great job with our recruiting, we had a conversation about this yesterday. It just feels like Bill O'Brien is doing what he did last year, going away from the run game more and more. On first down, he'll pass the ball. If it's second down and 10, then he'll run it. Well, Bama will pick up maybe 2 or 3 yards. If it's 3rd and 8, and they're back passing the ball again, it's like Bill O'Brien does not want to sit there and just trust the running game when it is being successful.
Right, and he's putting, Bryce in the RPOs, and I just think we just need to stick to the running game, and I think when we do that, we're successful. Then that's going to open up the passing game. But, it's frustrating sometimes to see us struggling to get 3 yards.
I mean, Tim, it's very frustrating, especially when you look at, you have the talent at running back. You got the talent. When you have Jahmyr Gibbs, when you have Jace McClellan, when you've got Roydell Williams, when you got Trey Sanders, when you got Jamarian Miller and others back there, the talent is there. And we've seen what Seth McLaughlin is as a center and how he brings that meanness to this offensive line where run blocking is concerned. So it's not a lack of talent. It's a question of, if you're Nick Saban, when do you look at Bill O'Brien and go, what are you doing? The run game is working. What are you doing? Like, I understand O'Brien's up there in the booth and he's wearing a backwards hat now, trying to call plays. That's kind of weird. Or he flipped his hat backwards against Mississippi State. I don't know what kind of mojo he's trying to create there. But we've seen other coordinators, they're on the field, they're getting cussed out, chewed out. So if they can deal with that and they're on the field submerged in the action, why can't you be?
Yeah, I agree with you. That's one of the things that I don't like. I would like to see our offensive coordinator on the field.
Exactly, because then they get a chance to really, truly see what's going on. You can't really get a feel for it when you're upstairs. When you're on that field and you can see your players' faces on that field, then you can actually get an understanding of, okay, this is what's going on.
Right. Are you taking a trip to Baton Rouge, Stephen?
You know what, Tim? I look forward to it. I look forward to taking that trip there, man.
Okay. Weather's nice here. Hadn't had rain. It's been beautiful weather here, so I hope it's going to be like that in November.
Absolutely. Appreciate Tim from Baton Rouge getting us started off here on the show. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Stephen, Bill from New York. How are you, brother?
Doing great, Bill. I mean, a good job by the defense over the weekend, even though, Bama had some guys that no small injuries trying to get over, but defense stepped up.
I think so, too. Last week I made that 58-3 prediction. But you know what? Even a broken clock is right twice a day. That's what they say. My 58 was off, but that 3 was pretty close. I was very happy with the defense. Although I even think they can get better. I want 92 back in there. I don't know. He's hurting. You know what I mean? And I spoke last week about Branch. I'm just thrilled with the way he's playing. And again, on plays that he blitzed, we had the best pass rush. You know what I mean? That guy is really doing something. Now, on offense, I like Roydell. I like him, but I don't know. I just wish Jamarian would get some more carries. I think he doesn't have Roydell's experience, but to me, he has a higher ceiling. And I remember the game where, 2018, where Tua came in, threw the touchdown pass to Devontae. That was all freshmen winning that game. So what I hope is happening is that our freshmen develop like that this year too. Everybody, JoJo, all these guys, Prentice. I want to include Jamarian in that conversation. I think that maybe that's the way Saban. I think that's the way he likes to move freshmen in, like let the experienced guys play early. What do you think, Stephen? Am I onto something, or am I making any sense?
You are, Bill. And a lot of times, Saban starts going more and more to the freshmen as we get deeper and deeper into the season. So I look at a guy like Jamarian Miller as we get into LSU, as we get into Ole Miss, as we get into Auburn. His name, his number could start creeping back out there more. You're seeing it with Kobe Prentice. You're seeing it with Isaiah Bond. These freshmen getting out there. You saw it against Mississippi State with Shaz Preston, another young receiver. He got out there. So I think as we get deeper into the season, Saban looks to see, okay, we recruited this awesome freshman class. Let's see what you guys got now as we get deeper into the year. And going back to that 2017 team, we saw it also. As they got deep into 2017, that's when we saw, Devontae Smith get targeted more. Jerry Jeudy get targeted more. Henry Ruggs get targeted more. Najee Harris got in the games more. So as we get deeper into this year, we will see more of those freshmen.
All right, well, I have another crazy prediction, but I'm not going to make it tonight. You know what I mean? I'm going to save that. But we are going to destroy LSU. I'll just leave it at that. All right, brother. Have a great night.
Absolutely. Appreciate Bill from New York calling into the show as always, giving us that support from his end. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? What's going on? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steve? Elijah from Jersey. How you feeling, man?
Doing great, brother, and yourself, Elijah.
Oh, man, I was happy to see a guy get his fair chance. You know what I mean? You remember we had this conversation a couple weeks back, and it was you got your practice players, guys who do everything right in practice, but then you got your guys that are gamers. When the lights come on, it's 100,000 people in the stands. They ain't fazed by it one bit. In practice, they go half speed. Steve, when I played college football in Alfred State, New York, it was a guy up there named Leroy Collins. He ended up playing at Louisville. In practice, he told me he goes about 60 to 75%. And I said, why is that? He says, because I'm just trying to get my technique right. Sometimes when you go too fast, you mess up on your technique and things like that. He says, I'm just trying to get my footwork right, my hand placement right. He says, but then now when game time comes after 4 days of practicing this, I can do it at full speed. And that's and people, a lot of people had what they said about Eli Ricks and, oh, he's not doing this and he's not doing that. He ain't playing worth this in practice. He's not a practice player, man. That boy is a gamer. And as you can see, he didn't do that against no Utah State. He didn't do that against Christian Mary Brothers. He did that against Mississippi State, man. And he was right there, Steve. It wasn't like he got beat on the play. This dude was right there when they did complete the pass for 19 yards on him. He almost batted that one down. So I get pissed off because I'm like, if we had Eli Ricks sitting on that sideline, imagine how many other guys is on that sideline that can give us that type of production, but they're just not given the opportunity. Just like Bill just said, freshman developing, he would love, in the later part of the season, we'd love to see these freshmen come in and get more playing time. But Steve, you can't develop if you're not on the field. You got to be on that field in game time situations. Practice don't make you a great player. Because these guys ain't trying to kill each other in practice. They're giving each other great competition, but they're not killing each other in practice. What makes you a great player is when that other man lines up against you that don't go to your school, don't really know who you are, don't care who you are. He's out there to destroy you. Now, that's still going to sharpen that steel out there. He's going to go 110% at you. These other boys that's sitting on these sidelines, man, I'm sorry, but I understand loyalty, and I feel Saban has too much loyalty to certain players. Man, it's time to make a change. Because some of these other boys is up here got that same energy, got that same athletic ability as the Eli Ricks, but they just ain't getting the opportunity to showcase their skills on the field. Like, I feel that's crazy. You have Terrion Arnold, Kool-Aid McKinstry playing all year, getting all this experience. And this man, don't forget, Eli Ricks didn't play for a while. So he should have had a lot of rust. And he came out there and was the best defensive back on the field. Not just the best corner, the best defensive back on the field for both teams. He shut it down on both sides of the ball. I mean, on the defensive side of the ball. They made it to the point where Mississippi State wasn't even really trying to attack him that much. That's why they kept going the Kool-Aid side, because they knew this kid right here, oh, man, why couldn't they just keep sitting him? Because he came in and shut down one side of the field, Eli Ricks did. Now, I'm still, Steve, disappointed with the run game. I'm still disappointed with that. We cannot stop the run. Because, to be honest with you, if Mike Leach had any type of common sense, he would have kept trying to run the ball because he was having success running the ball. He just gave up on it too quick. But, I'm glad Bama came out with the win. I still don't understand Bill O'Brien's play calling for the life of me, Steve. It's like, I don't know. The offense just don't have no flow to it, man. It really just don't have no flow. But, I'm glad to see Eli Ricks out there. Hopefully this whole secondary just picks it up and feeds off of his energy, because the dude, he's a baller. He's what we're used to seeing back there in that secondary, man. But I appreciate it. The time, Steve, man, you have a good one.
Appreciate Elijah there calling in to the show on a Monday. And I mean, Bill O'Brien, there are times where I truly feel like he's trying to stick a square peg into a circle. And what did Einstein say? Insanity is when you try to do the same thing 100 dozen times or something like that. You know it don't work. and you don't try anything different. I mean, that's kind of where I am when it comes down to Bill O'Brien. But we take this phone call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steve? It's Austin from Atlanta.
Austin, what's going on?
What's going on, man? I'm basically really having the same issues as all the other callers. And I want to say I went to my first Alabama game last weekend with my girlfriend, and it was an amazing experience. I didn't realize like the atmosphere was so chilling. You know, we were in there in the fan on third down, then we get the first down roll tide. Like that was an experience. That was breathtaking. But back to the team, yeah, they played good, but their running game it's just not there. And like what Bill said from New York, I like Rodell too, but it's just like I used to tell my friends all the time. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just in you. It's not on you. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of Bama players, it's not really in them no more. Like it's just on them. You know what I mean? So I like the secondary. I like Eli Ricks starting, but that's like he should have been starting over Terrion. And I also feel like the jury is still out on DeMarco Hellens because I really feel like they really didn't test him like that. I really feel like we should make a change at safety and put the Story at safety or put just leave Malachi out there at safety. And I still think the jury's out on the star position because we like Mississippi State really didn't test us. Like they didn't test like their receiver. They were good, but they didn't have like that threat, that fast guy like Tennessee had and like Texas had. We need to find a quarterback that can guard a fast track star like that because we're gonna see that. We're gonna see that from Ohio State, Michigan. They all got guys that can get down the field. So I feel like we need to figure out who can stop that. And I feel like another thing on the offense, I feel like Bryce Young. Sometimes he either got to run or just throw it away. Like sometimes it's like it's giving like Tua. You know what I'm saying? When Tua used to try to make every play, sometimes it's like, okay, Tua, like it's okay, you can just throw it away. Sometimes you can't make a touchdown to every play. Sometimes you just gotta get it done. You know what I'm saying? She was there. But Bill O'Brien doesn't seem to have a playbook mind. It's like it's no creativity, Steve. You said that a couple of weeks ago. It's no creativity, no screens. Like I didn't even see Jahmyr Gibbs get no screen like that. Like just it's so easy just to throw him a nice little halfback screen, let him see what he can do. He can throw those to Jace. Like, you know, wide receiver screens, Isaiah Bond, Kobe Prentice. These guys are fast. Where is the dude from Louisville? I seen him out there. I seen him out there getting ready for the game, but he's not in the game. And to the end of the game, like, we saw what happened when Jameson got to Alabama last year. Everybody with Bama Nation, we all saw what happened. Instant offense, because when you got somebody who could take the top off the defense, you don't got nothing to worry about. Everything else will open up. Mechie, open up Latu, all of them. So why not put him in the game, send him on that deep route, open everything up, let everybody get some juice or something. You know what I'm saying? It's my bad. I'm sorry, fans. I can ramble off for the whole night. But, yeah, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on my points. Hopefully I wasn't talking too fast because sometimes I get passionate about Bama, so I just start rambling off. But, yeah, I love y'all, Bama Nation. I would definitely be going back to a game because that was great. I love y'all.
Appreciate Austin there calling in from Atlanta. Happy that he enjoyed that experience of Brian Denny. Now, about the receivers here, the reason why it was so great with Jameson Williams was John Mechie was just consistent. He was that consistent possession guy. If it was John Mechie, run a 10-yard in. Mechie was going to run that 10-yard in and make the catch. Mechie, do a comeback route. He was going to run that comeback route, make the catch. Mechie was Mr. Consistency. And as much as people like to poke fun at Slade Bolden from time to time, Slade Bolden had his moments of consistency. So at least last year, Bryce Young had three guys. Yo, I know I can trust J-Mo. I know I can trust Mechie. Even though folks be ragging on him, I can trust Slade Bolden. With this group of receivers, Bryce is like, who do I trust here? Because I throw the ball to Holden. Sometimes he's going to catch it. Sometimes he's going to drop it. I throw the ball to Burton. Sometimes he may be there. Sometimes he ain't. So I throw the ball to Ja'Cory Brooks. He flashes at times. But who do I really trust with this ball? That's the reason why you're seeing more of these freshmen. You're seeing Kobe Prentice out there more. You're seeing Isaiah Bond out there more. Like I said against Mississippi State, you saw Shaz Preston because Saban's trying to figure out, okay, who can we really trust to catch this football? So that's the thing there with the wide receivers. But we take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Stephen M. Smith, how you doing, man? My name is Chris from Birmingham.
Chris, what's going on, brother?
Man, I've been watching your show, man. I'm loving what you're doing. I finally got a chance to call in, man. But just a few things here, man. I know you got a lot of callers on the line there. I want to rewind to the Tennessee game, man, just for a brief moment. Man, first off, man, okay, the penalties. I do understand that teams get a lot of penalties sometimes, and things don't go your way. But man, some of them penalties, man, were game-changing penalties. People say, "Oh, it's not their fault; it's Bama's fault. They got so many penalties." But man, I think it was who was that? Was it JoJo Earl or Jermaine Burton? They had him in a headlock, man. You know that
Yeah.
If that was called, okay, that game goes the other way. It's how many opportunities you create in the game to allow the other team to win. I mean, that's just, there's no just, equal fair game across the board. But, man, I just think, those penalties really helped us back. That was not supposed to be called. But anyway, then this last game, and I'm breathing hard. I've been working out, man. But this last game, man, for Mississippi State, man, they're not scared. It didn't seem like they were scared of our defense at all. They tried us about 2 or 3 times on 4th down. And I think teams are seeing, man, that our defense is really not holding it down like we need to. I think now we got some good players, man. It was good to see Ricks out there. Terrion Arnold is still a really good player. I don't know what folk have against him, but I think he's a really good player as well. Ricks did his thing that night, man. But that's basically it, man. I think that, once we get our defense showing up, like we used to back in the day, then we'll be good, man. But that's all I had, man. Thanks.
Appreciate Chris from Birmingham calling in there. Terrion Arnold is a good player. He is. I would like to see him as a safety because he played that in high school in Tallahassee, Florida. And I know Coach Saban is tinkering with this secondary, trying to get the best athletes on the field. He played mostly dime against Mississippi State. That's the reason why we saw Malachi Moore and Brian Branch out there together an awful lot. But I would like to see Terrion get an opportunity there at that free safety spot because, like I mentioned, DeMarco Helms is a linebacker. He plays like a linebacker. He wants to be in a run support. He wants to make those hard hits. So I would like to see DeMarco Helms brought down to the box, more so inside the box, and maybe have a Terrion Arnold there as that free safety across from Jordan Battle. That's just my opinion. But we take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Stephen M. Smith is Chad from Talladega, Alabama. How are you doing, Steve?
Doing great, Chad, and yourself?
I'm doing pretty damn good. Listen, loved the win last week. Loved our defense. This is the point of my call. Steve, we have to go back. You remember when Nick Saban coached LSU?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember that nasty-ass press coverage defense that he presented for them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why can't we do that? I don't get it with lockdown corners now that we seem to provenly have. Why don't we steer in that direction? I'm curious.
That's what Alabama's going to have to do. I remember when Saban brought the bump and run, stick to him coverage, and guys would just be shutting down both sides of the field. And you've got Eli Ricks, who showed you last week, hey, I can do that totally. You've got Kool-Aid McKinstry, who is trending, growing in that direction. It's time to see that.
But listen, Stephen, I mean, it's exciting defense to watch. I mean, what they did, and I don't know how old you are, Stephen, but I'm 45. And I remember I dreaded playing LSU when Shula was at the helm with Alabama because that press coverage was nasty. No one can get by it. And if they did, it was far and few between. I mean, that defense won LSU so many ball games back then. And what my point being is Saban, I don't know why he's thinking so much offense, which we have a lot of talent on offense. But isn't that just bonus? I mean, we also possess talents on the defense, edge rushers, lockdown corners. Why don't we implement that? I mean, is it me, or is it just seem like we're having to adapt too much to other people's offenses instead of staying true to what his roots are? You see what I'm saying, Steve?
I feel like Chad Saban's been doing so much adapting to the change of college football that even for him, it's trying to get back to the root of things. Because the root of Alabama football has always been we're going to pound the ball in the run game and we're going to destroy you on defense. You know, that was the root. That was the bread and butter for years. And, I get it. When Tua Tagovailoa came in 2017, it changed some things. It changed quite a bit of things. But that shouldn't have taken you all the way from your root. But it seems like it has. And, Saban's got to get back to some of that root there.
Well, let me just say this, Stephen. When I watch our defense take the field and play, we give up yards. We're still hungry. We hit like hell. Excuse my language. We hit, and we're very intimidating, but it's after 15 yards. And it's like we play a zone with an intimidation factor of us being Alabama. Why don't we just challenge those guys, step up to the line, let's put 8 in let's make them throw it on us, Steve. In fact, what I would like to say against Tennessee, we should have pressed them, make them go. Get up in their face, make them beat you. We're talking about 4 and 5-star recruits out there on the field. Make them beat you don't let them get just a misstep angle, which we were playing off because we were concerned about Tennessee's deep ball threat. And, of course, Helms took the brunt end of that. But, if you just say, you know what, beat us up close, beat us quick, if they're very wide out, so be it. Get in their face. Make them beat you. That could be fantasy football talking in my arms, or my eyes, rather. But you tell me, Stephen, wouldn't you, from this point in the season on, just challenge them? Okay, let's go talent versus talent now. Screw the playbooks. Get in their face. Challenge them. I guarantee you we'll come out on top. I guarantee you, Stephen. There's nobody that can challenge us man-to-man, one-on-one, in your face. Let's get it. That's just me. I will stop with that. But think about it. Honestly, what do you think with what we can put on the field versus what's been happening on the field? Because I think, like an example of the LSU and the Texas game, the deep ball is thriving. But if you jam them real quick, how far can they get with that over and over and over again? I'll hang up and let you talk on that. Okay, Steve?
Appreciate Chad from Talladega calling in, and good point there. I want to see more of a challenge also, and absolutely. And that goes back to when you talk about the Tennessee game. I know people are tired of talking about the Tennessee game, but that one goes back to Pete Golding. An adjustment needing to be made on defense. If you're seeing that, okay, we're not challenging them, we're not playing press coverage, we're not jamming these guys, and we allow for Jalen Hyatt to get the touchdown that he got, the first one, where he split DeMarco Helms and Brian Branch. Okay, let's change something up here. Let's go man-to-man. Let's go press coverage. Let's get in their face. Let's challenge these receivers, and let's see how good are they for real by challenging them with that coverage. But we did not see Pete Golding. We did not see Coach Saban make that adjustment. And because it didn't happen, that's why Josh Heupel continued with what he did. But, I agree with that. Good challenge. That'll be good. But we're going to go to this call right here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's up? What's up, man? What's happening, man?
Welcome, Charles. What's going on, man?
Man, let me tell you, man. Another blessed day. Anytime you wake up and be able to do what you want to do, it's a blessed day. Let me just
I agree with it. Amen. Amen to that.
Yeah. Ma'am, let the church say amen. And let me just say this, man. I want Alabama fans to realize this. Let's forget about this Tennessee game. It's over. Let it go. Let it lie. I know that it was an informer out there. You know it was an informant out there. But know who do know? The man upstairs know he was out there. So we got to let that go. And we got to focus on these last games, because if we don't, we're going to lose again. So let's just ride this win, ride this wave like we're supposed to, and let's get back on track. They say when you got a wound on your arm, open wound, you use medicine, and then it takes time for it to heal. Well, this loss will take time for us to heal. So now we're in the healing process. We got some medicine said, so we should be much better. But let me just say this, man. Tennessee better hope that we don't make it to the SEC championship. They better pray that we don't come back there again, because now you'll be on a neutral field, and now it'll be a mono. Let me say this in closing, and let me say this only one time. Let me tell you something. Be careful who you think a legend and who a hero is. Be very careful, because they had a guy out there at Waterworld out there. He trained whales for 30 years. He was a legend, yes. But then they brought one killer whale in there, and he sat on him and killed him. Is he still a legend? Yes. But he dead, though. So let me tell you something, man. People can hurt people. And people, it said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Well, I have to talk to God about that. Because when I went to work one time, I had me 2 ham sandwiches, an apple, an orange, and a sweet Debbie cake. Somebody now went in there, put my lunch on the table, and my 2 sandwiches was gone. Oh, I was sad. And I was hungry, and I was mad. But I let the universe of God fight my battles. And you know what I did? I called home, and I told my wife, I said, look, we still got some of that barbecue in there. She said, yeah. I said, well, why you ask that? I said, because they don't stole my lunch. Well, what you going to do? I said, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get me a drink and a big bag of chips. I think I'll be able to make it through the shift. Went home, fixed that barbecue sandwiches up, and I said, reach up in that cabinet and get me some of the egg slacks, because I got my sauce in the cup, and I mixed it in with that sauce. And there wasn't but David, Steve, and Tom on the job. And I knew one of them got it. I said, if they ate that lunch, it's only 3 things. Either they was hungry, or they was selfish, or they was mean. So I'm going to find out tomorrow which one did it. And all of a sudden, I went to the lunchroom again. My sandwich was gone. But when I went back on the job, it was 2 guys on the job, and one was me. It was Steve. He was in the good old bathroom on the throne, giving it up. Now, I got you. I didn't bring him back there. The universe brought him back. And now he paying the price. And I'm going to say this one more thing. Let me say this. Let me tell you something. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with being good to people. Well, man, guy didn't have a way home from work. It's late at night. I said, well, man, come on. Boy, he got in that car and I rolled the windows up, and this joker smelled like Wolfman Jack. And I couldn't take it no more, so I had to hold my head out the window, tears just rolling down my face. He said, man, what you doing? I said, man, I'm trying to see if I got a flat. With the car driving? Yeah, man, because you smell like the werewolf from London. I got to let you. In fact, I'm going to let these back ones down, too, because if I swallow this air, I'll be swallowing a dead body. And that's all I got to say. Don't worry about them games. Let's worry about the next game. And that's all I got to say, player.
Appreciate Uncle Charles calling in, telling you. Vital information for everyday life coming right there from Uncle Charles. We got a couple of super chats to get to right now. So how about Jimmy Cash Clay with that $42 donation? Showing love there. Appreciate Jimmy Clay. And we got Lorraine in here. Lorraine with that $9.99 in the super chats. That daily goal of $75 has been met. Appreciate all of you, the Bama Nation, helping us out here on the show. Don't forget, hit that like button. Give us that thumbs up. Hit subscribe as well. Make this your show for Bama football. We get into a quick call topic right here. This one goes to DeMarco Hellams, Alabama senior safety, who had 12 tackles, including 7 solo tackles, a sack, a tackle for loss, 2 pass breakups, and Alabama's 30-6 win over Mississippi State. He won the Reese's Senior Bowl Defensive Player of the Week. So Jim Nagy, executive director of the Senior Bowl, his staff named DeMarco Hellams Defensive Player of the Week. Hellams in the preseason was one of several Alabama players put on watch for the Senior Bowl, which is played every year in, I believe, it's played every year in January down there in Mobile. But big ups to the DeMarco Hellams. making the Reese's Senior Bowl Defensive Player of the Week. We go to a break right now, folks. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, Mike Leach of Mississippi State said something very interesting about Alabama. We'll talk about it after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, baby, we're back into the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets. Talking Bama football in my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We're over 270 people in the chat, 106 likes. Let's get this thing to 200 likes. Hit that thumbs up, smash that like button, run those likes up there, folks. Appreciate all the support coming from you. All donations appreciated. Welcome. Thank you guys for making this show exactly what it is here. Got the man Eli Walker in the production studio. But, Eli, of course you were at the game. You were down there getting all the great videos. But Mike Leach said something very interesting in the post-game presser after Bulldogs took a loss to Alabama. And when he said this, it got me thinking, Eli. It got me thinking, Bama Nation. Has Alabama sort of, kind of regained the mental edge over the opposition? Has it done that yet? I mean, I know it's one game, but it came against an SEC team that likes to throw the football and run it some, and Mike Leach kind of got this weird, crazy pirate vibe. I'm like, and for him to say what he said, does this mean Alabama's kind of regained that mental edge? I mean, but Mike Leach came out and said, look, our guys were afraid of the Alabama players. That's what Mike Leach said. Our guys were afraid of the Alabama players. And I understand it. DeMarco Hellams hit a guy so hard he dropped the football. Eli Ricks forced 5 incompletions, getting up, yelling, screaming, animated. Well, it kind of scared me too. Kool-Aid McKinstry almost had an insane interception. That's kind of scary. Alabama forced, 4 or 5 sacks in the game, 15 pass breakups. I mean, Bama did some things against Mississippi State that would cause you to be scared. I mean, I think Dallas Turner was playing inside linebacker at one point in time in the game. That's scary. Dear goodness, that's scary. Having Dallas Turner as an inside linebacker, it's crazy in itself. The question is, has Alabama kind of regained that mental edge over the competition? And we cannot say for certain that it 100% has just yet, because you look at this Alabama defense, right? You still got LSU. You got to go to the Bayou. You got to go to Death Valley, Tiger Stadium, and shut down that crowd. Eli Ricks has to go to his former team and take out Kayshon Boutte in that program. Alabama was able to go down there to LSU and take them out, on November 5th. Then we can begin a conversation of, has Alabama regained that mental edge? Then you look at Ole Miss on November 12th. You got to go down to Oxford, the Grove, and take on Lane Kiffin. Somebody of whom the last time you went down to Oxford in 2020, you gave up 48 points. Now, you scored 63 with Mac Jones, Devontae Smith, Najee Harris and company, but you also gave up 48. So, then there's that. You got to go down there and shut down Ole Miss and Oxford. And then, of course, Auburn. Even though Auburn may not be the most attractive-looking team right now, in a rivalry game, the records go out the window. And last year, I was down there, Eli, at Jordan-Hare, that environment right there, and the stadium shook. Couldn't hear myself think and or talk. And Bama won that game by 2, and it took 4 overtimes. After Crimson Tide looked pretty bad for the majority of that game. Real bad for the majority of that game. So it's good to hear Mike Leach kind of say, our guys were afraid of those Bama guys out there. And it's good to kind of have a thought of, well, has Bama regained that mental edge? It was a good win. But I think Alabama's defense, Pete Golden and company, they got to show this coming. They got to build off this coming off the bye week this week into LSU. They're going to take it from LSU to Ole Miss to Auburn. And then into the postseason as well. If Bama can do that, then we can answer the question of, has it regained that mental edge over the opposition? But I just thought that was interesting that in the press conference, here's Mike Leach, our guys were afraid of their guys. So that was kind of intriguing there. Got a couple of super chats to shout out before we go to our next break here. How about Godfather of the SEC with that $4.99 in the super chats? Appreciate that. And we got Tracy Calloway. Tracy Calloway with that $5 donation. Showing love there as well. Keep rolling them in. Keep hitting that like button, smashing the like button on the show. We're going to take our break right here, folks. When we come back, we go to the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Light us up after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to WhitwellSports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, folks, we're back into the action from the break on a Monday. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA, giving you that Bama news. Nick Saban and your Crimson Tide on a bye week this week, but us here at TDA still hard at work. Got the man Eli Walker here in the production studio. Continue hitting that like button on the show. Run those likes up. Hit that like button. Make sure we're getting that support from you. Trying to get this thing at 200 likes right here on the show. Appreciate the support there from you guys. Also, Bama Nation, keep your eyes on one Jerry Jeudy. He's been involved in a lot of NFL trade talks right now. The Denver Broncos are open to moving him. One conversation, according to a few Miami Dolphin beat writers, the Dolphins have reached out to Jeudy. This could be a reunion. Jeudy, Waddle, Tua, could be a reunion there in South Beach. So keep your eyes on that. Jerry Jeudy involved in a lot of NFL trade talks right now. It's not working out for him in Denver, even though the Broncos got Russell Wilson. So if the Dolphins are reaching out and Miami makes a move, putting Jerry Jeudy back with Tua, this could be very, 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 very fun to watch. So definitely something to keep your eyes on. But we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be heard. 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Stephen M., big fan, Richmond, Virginia. Love the show. Love all you do.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I mean, TDA gives the platform. Eli Walker runs the controls, him and John Ivory. I just do the easiest part. I come on here and talk football with you.
Week in, week out, you guys do a fantastic job, the whole team. Listen, want to get your thought on really a couple of things, but there's one thing that keeps jumping out to me, game in, week out. This inconsistency has to be at the coaching level. We have depth at every position. We've got some of the best players in college football. We have one game where we come out and we look like we'll blow out anybody in the country. We got one game we'll come out and we just look like it's just not there. You know, even the last couple of games I watched, I kind of did this mental drawback to Mac Jones, 2020 team. We always went into every game, no matter if it was tight, no matter if it was an interception, a drop ball, a fumble, what have you, you never had a worry, at least I didn't, that we would walk away from that game with a victory. There was a swagger, there was a confidence. You looked on the sidelines. I've been to plenty of games in BDS, and even during the Sark era, you look down on the sidelines, and there was just a calm from coaches to assistants to analysts to players. We got this. Don't worry about it. This is going to be a victory. You look down now at the sidelines and specifically the coaches. There's this kind of, this almost erratic behavior, this, we got to adapt, we've got to do something. The players kind of feed off of that, this anxiety talk, or, you know, the fact that we don't have this Bama swagger that we should have. You know, you had a show not too long ago where you're talking to some alumni, and I think it was put out best that we don't have anxiety. We give anxiety to other players, to other teams, to other coaches, to other programs. Whether it's Pete, whether it's Bill, whether it's anybody else on the offensive or defensive side of the program, we got plenty of decent analysts. We got plenty of decent assistants. At some point, and I love Nick Saban as all of us do, but if you're going to earn the big bucks as the head coach, you got to get to a point now that we're halfway through the season where if it ain't working, you've got to get some minds and some voices down on the sidelines and in those players' ear to make it work, to build the confidence, to get that first string of wide receivers that we should already have established by now, to get that play calling down pat now that we're halfway through the season. Our job isn't going to be any easier. Going down to Baton Rouge, hosting a completely wounded Auburn team in the Iron Bowl, which is always tough. Going down and dealing with Lane, which you realize every year he's going to circle this game on his calendar because he wants to show what he's all about. This is not a gimme for the Tide. And I feel like at this point in the season, we're just not clicking at the coaching level to give our players the confidence that they need to have to go out there and run people into the ground. It's not a talent thing. If Bill ain't working out, then he can turn his hat back right and put him on the sideline and get somebody else up in the booth. If Pete's going to call an erratic game and can't pick up an I formation in the Tennessee game, well, sorry, we got to get Grantham, get somebody else up there that's got a little bit more depth and experience to make it happen. Like, at the end of the day, I think we got to realize that every year we're out there competing for a national championship, and that just doesn't rest with the players alone. That rests also with the coaches. They carry the burden as much as the players do. So I'm really interested in your thoughts of at what point do we stop talking about Bill? At what point do we stop questioning Pete? And at what point do we say, yeah, the fundamental changes have been made to put this team in the final stretch, so we're running through people. They have the confidence to do so, and the coaches that we have on the sidelines are putting them in the best position to start blowing people out like Bama is supposed to do. Stephen M., I love the show. Appreciate your time. Interested in your thoughts.
Absolutely. Brian from Virginia calling in. To me, Eli, this starts with Coach Saban, but I think first and foremost as a player, because I've heard this from several former players, as a player, you got to have that mentality within yourself to run through the opposition. You got to have that as a player within yourself. Like, I'll use Jonathan Allen, prime example. Yes, Kirby Smart, Jeremy Pruitt did a great job with that young man. They did. But Jonathan Allen got on campus with that mentality of, I'm going to run to you and through your soul. He came in with that. Reuben Foster came with that. Ryan Anderson came with that. Tim Williams came with that. Several players in the recent Saban era, they came with that mentality, I'm going to beat your brain out your body. They came in with that. You couldn't teach it. You couldn't coach it. You couldn't train it. Maybe you had to cultivate it a little bit, but those guys came in there with that. So the coaches didn't have to really say much to those guys because they had it in them from the get-go. And those guys were able to police other guys around them because they had that. Now, but for the coaches, yes, you got to put the guys in the best position to win. Absolutely. No doubt about that. For the coaches, yes, players feed off of your energy. The defensive players, because defense is about energy and effort, they feed off the energy and the effort and the enthusiasm of the defensive coordinator. I 100% agree with that. And sometimes you wonder, is Pete Golding giving that energy, giving that effort in terms of having these guys mentally, emotionally up there to play? That's a question that needs to be addressed, needs to be asked. But just to me, coming from former players, a lot of this is, as a player, you got to have that mentality within yourself to go out there and wreak shop and wreak havoc. Because if you don't have the mentality within yourself, what can a coach pull out of you that's not in you? So that's always kind of been my thing also. But we grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Mike from Chicago, the man of reason. Got to get on here. Talk about the reason, guys. As I said, for whatever reason, we jump off the ship, off the building. This team looks no different than any other team that we've ever had. They had a good win this week. They're working hard, getting back to the fundamentals. I mean, you're going to have peaks in the valley. Again, as I said, how does this team look any different than any other Nick Saban team? The Bama standard that everybody's on this phone talking about was brought by Nick Saban. It wasn't like, this is great. Nick Saban got the 6 championships, and then you got Bear Bryant, and you got one in between. So it ain't like, when Nick came, there was 15 championships and all this stuff was going on when he came. Bama was hot garbage. Nick came in and put in what everybody's now saying, expect championships every year. They're competing for a championship. They are still in the hunt right now for a championship. They barely lost to Tennessee. If Mount Cody doesn't block the field goal, Lane could have beat. I mean, it's nothing. It's no season. I think everybody lives in this land of delusional land and reminisce about the good old times that I don't know where they existed. I mean, we talk about Tennessee and the receiver that torched them and nobody made adjustments. Mike Evans torched Bama. The great Kirby Smart that everybody wants to love and kiss and hug, Mike Evans torched them. I mean, Texas A&M came and whooped the head. It's happened. And as I always keep saying, this team looks no different than the other team. They're in the hunt. They're competing. They're winning. They're not getting. They're going to be in the national championship. I'm 5,000% sure when they win it, nobody's going to remember the Tennessee game. Nobody's going to remember anything. We beat Georgia last year. Nobody's going to remember that. Everybody remembers that Georgia's the national championship. Lost only because the top two receivers were gone. After that, nobody's going to remember this stuff. It's just always when I'm hearing all the people talk and everything, there's this delusion like somehow or another there's 12 consecutive undefeated seasons, or there's 13. I mean, Nick Saban, as I stated last week, only had 2 undefeated seasons. That was the shortened COVID season and the national championship season. That's it. They've lost one game. They've looked shaky at some moments in time. They've had to fight hard. And at the end of the year, he's prevailed with 6 rings that everybody just takes for granted. Like, oh, any team can do that. Anybody can just go out there. He's the man that's brought in the national championships. He's the man that is year after year, coordinators leaving, kept the consistency of winning. Do you know how many coordinators, if you have other programs get hit with losing coordinators, the program would tank. Look at Clemson. They're just not getting back. They lost coordinators and head was twisting in 1 year. Trust the GOAT. Look at the team. Look, they're 6-1, number 1 in the West. They got to play 2 teams. They win out. They go to CFP. They win it. They slap that ring on their finger, and nobody's going to remember Tennessee. This is a team that looks just like any other team that Nick Saban has coached. They're in the process of competing. That's what I think. What do you think about that?
I mean, Mike, you're correct about that. I mean, there are only 2 undefeated teams in the Nick Saban era, the 2009 team and the 2020 team. I mean, this team looks a lot like last year's team. The only difference between this team and last year's team, if I had to give one, was Alabama a bit more confident in what it had at wide receiver last year with Jamison Williams and John Mechie versus what it has this year. So the only difference would be receivers.
It looks like a Coker team when he was quarterback, and it looks like Blake team when he quarterback. It looks like any other team that there's moments in time that there's a – because the thing that everybody forget is that when Bama walks in or when you walk into to Denny Stadium, you're going to get the best. I mean, you're going to get the supreme best. If Bama was 2-9, a team is still going to walk in there and give their extreme best because that's their Super Bowl, that's their recruiting pitch. I mean, if you look at Texas A&M, Texas A&M went 8-4 last year and was happy because they beat Bama. They was just so ecstatic at Bama, but they went 8-4. Didn't even make the CFP. You're going to get people's best every week. And that's the thing that people don't understand, that you have to compete against somebody's, best every week. Tennessee's not getting, everybody's best every week. They're going to come and play, but they're not. Tennessee next year is probably going to be gone. They're going to probably go 8-3, 8-4. There is no consistency. You can't look at any program that has the level of consistency that Bama has, and that anytime they don't win by 40, they're a terrible team. Forget the fact that they're 7-1 or 9-1 when they lose or something like that. You're going to always get the best from everybody. And as I said, this is a team that is able to compete. They work hard. They went into a 100,000-seat stadium with a team that has lost 15 in a row, saying, I'm going to give everything I got, and they barely lost by a freak field goal. And I want to say it's a freak field goal, but they gave competitive action to it, and they walked away short end of the stick. Put that game 10 times in a row, we'll come out on the top end of the stick. As I said, just wait till the end of the year. Just wait till the end of the year. We'll be sliding those rings on the finger, and everybody be looking back 10 years from now on this team. Oh, this team was not like the previous teams in the year. Every year, this is a team. Any team that this looks like any other Nick Saban team. They are competitive. They work hard. They put things into it. We cannot always win 40-0, 60-0. It just can't happen. No program in NCAA does that. So as I say, everybody come on back in, and as always ended, roll Tide.
Appreciate Mike from Chicago giving his thoughts on the show on a Monday, 205-448-1358. That number to get your voice be made known. We take this call here. You're live on the show. How we feeling? What's going on? State your name and where you calling from.
This is Higgy from Mississippi.
What's going on, brother?
Man, I enjoyed the game. Saturday, boy, played a little bit better.
Yep. Yeah, it was a good win Saturday. Got a chance to take care of Mississippi State 30-6. Defense played better, so good win.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Eli Ricks got on the field. He made the impact.
He did.
Yeah, I'm glad he got on the field.
He got out there, broke up passes, played with a lot of energy, and brought something that this defense needed.
They needed that.
They needed that, man. Absolutely. They needed that, and he brought it and got everybody playing well. I appreciate that call right there from my man out of Mississippi. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, what's going on, Steve? It's Tobias Brooklyn, calling all the way from Fresno, man. How you doing?
Man, Tobias, I cannot complain, man. How are you?
Man, I'm good. Actually, I'm not in Fresno. I'm at a conference up in Salt Lake, but man, I'm excited. Aren't you excited about that big win this weekend? And my God, I think his name was Mike 2 callers ago. I'm glad that there's others out there who are like telling everyone, kind of tap the brakes. Let's see how this team evolves. Bama is Bama, straight up. You know, and like I said before, I'll be tripping off of people like just straight jumping off ship. Like, man, going to a level that I just feel like is explosive to kind of the talk that happens after a loss or after a not great game. But anyway, hopefully they get it together. Hopefully they get healed up this week. Hopefully this rest works. Hopefully they can get some timing back. Hopefully Bryce Young form gets stronger. I know he was kind of not feeling his play this past weekend. You know, there's some things we have to do on offense. But I did want to ask some of the other fans, you know, who say, hey, let's get rid of Golden. Okay. So I want to know, like, who's everyone thinking about to replace Golden? Who's everyone thinking about in terms of replacing O'Brien? That's one thing I'd like to ask. If we was all in one big chat, who's going to be the replacement? But the other thing that I got on here for, man, I was wrong at the beginning of the year. So, you know, I like to apologize when I'm wrong, man. I said that Texas A&M was going to lose to Miami. So I was only off by 1. It brought me joy. I hate to be like this, Steve, but it brought me joy to see Texas A&M go get that tap from South Carolina because of the way Jimbo acted and all of that, railing on Saban and Alabama this offseason. And now they have to go in there because guess what? It ain't easy to keep building teams that are championship caliber. Everybody want to talk like that, like, oh, we're going to get Mario Cristobal in and he going to do this and we're going to bring in Kiffin and he going to do this. Man, it ain't easy to do what Nick Saban did and is doing right now. To have multiple coordinators in and out, multiple teams in and out. Last year, Texas A&M were talking about, oh, we number 1 in recruiting. They only beat Bama in recruiting by a couple of points on the rating, but now we know ratings don't mean everything because you can be a 5-star dud and some of these kids probably, you know, driving around in their Mercedes and all of that now. Some of them over there at Texas A&M probably ain't even practicing right. I don't know what's going on with them. But that just did me good. So now, here's the thing, Steve. We got a big game coming up. LSU and Alabama, for the first time in a couple of years, it actually matters what happens in this game. And I'm so excited, man, because this is going to be, you know, I'm hoping it's just a great war. We should be able to beat the brakes off of them, but LSU's playing real inspired. Steve, I watched a whole lot of other games. Ohio has some warts, so I'm just going to leave that out there. There are some warts in Ohio. There are some warts in Michigan. There are some warts at Clemson. And man, the parity this year is exciting, Steve, because really, you could end up with Tennessee. If Tennessee beat Georgia, and we run the table, we get our rematch, and I agree with Mike. We go beat the brakes off that team. If they lose to Georgia, Steve, do you not realize that it's possible for us to go and beat Georgia? Then you have a one-loss Bama, one-loss Georgia, one-loss Tennessee. Who's going to be the four getting in there? Michigan got to still play Ohio State, so one of them going to have a loss. So, man, this is going to be exciting. Clemson.
Tobias, it's gonna be crazy if it plays out that way, because the thing that people greatly fear would have happened: 3 SEC teams in the playoff.
Well, Steve, they changed it to the 4 teams because of Bama. They got out of the BCS because of Bama. Now we're going to 12 teams because of Bama and Georgia. And guess what? We're going to get that 12-team playoff sooner than later, it looks like. And guess who's going to still be sitting there? Roll Tide will be sitting there at the end of it. Thanks, man. I'll drop some money in the chat.
Appreciate Tobias calling into the show here on a Monday, giving his thoughts, letting his voice be made known here on the show. We'll grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from. Jay, my man Jay, what's going on, brother?
I mean, good win, man. They got them a late janky touchdown. We'll live with that, but good win, man.
The boy Eli Ricks was out there.
Oh, Eli Ricks was out there, and I think he was hurt, Steve. That's why we ain't seeing first of the year. But now I feel like Nick finna go and let that monster loose on folks double ASs.
I feel the same way, Jay. I feel it. I feel the same way.
Man, Bill needs to run the ball, Steve. Like, I don't understand why he wants Bryce to freaking play superhero ball. But it ain't fair to us, man. It ain't fair to us as fans for you to have 16,000 running backs and don't none of them touch the ball, man. Bryce can't throw every play.
I mean, I'm trying to understand, Jay. Like, why was he in the booth with a backwards hat on? Like, turning the hat backwards was going to provide some magic. I don't know, but I agree with you. Like, you got to run the football. You got to run Jahmyr Gibbs. You got to run Jace McClellan. You got to run these guys.
Yeah, man, Steve, just turn them loose. Then my mind goes to, man, can we finally see like a jet sweep or two to Jermaine Burton, Tyler Harrell or somebody? Like, can we see just a little more creativity, man? Because we've been asking for this for 2 seasons and I ain't got it, man.
I mean, you have not gotten it, Jay. You've been asking for it for 2 seasons. I confirm it, and you have not gotten it.
Steve, they got it. That defensive line got to play better, though. We did get pushed around a little bit up front.
Well, they got to get 2 guys back healthy. You know, Jaheim Otis didn't play in the game against State. Got to get him back healthy. Got to get Dale back healthy. Got to get a Boygby back healthy. So that's 3 guys. You got to get back healthy.
Steve, you know I believe in that help, but this is also Bama. This is the next man up. So that next man should have did a better job. I don't care if you 5th on the depth chart, all 4 of them hurt in front of you. Sir, you were out there, and then people were moving you with ease. Please don't let it happen no more. No matter if you 5th string or 1,000 string.
5th string or 1,000. I hear you, Jay.
I don't know. See, I'm not seeing the perception. I don't know. I'm not seeing what I need to see from Bama. But Roll Tide, man, I love y'all. Let's get back to basics in this off week, in this bye week, and then we can smack around LSU because we already know they ain't gonna do nothing but Jaden Daniels run around and throw the ball deep and hope for a pass interference. Roll Tide, guys. Love y'all.
Appreciate Jay from Sheffield calling into the show there. I mean, you got to have the next man up. You got to. And we saw a lot of Damon Payne in that game against Mississippi State. We saw a lot of Jamil Burroughs. Saw a lot of T.M. Smith. Those guys got to continue to improve and step up, absolutely. But truth be told, you're going to have Jaheim Otis back. You're going to have him back. You're going to have Justin Aboigbe back at some point. He's been dealing with the neck issue. And you got to have DJ Dale back at some point, even though he's just spot playing out there. Got to have all your health there on the field at every position. Got to appreciate Tobias Brookins from Fresno with that $50 donation. The Super Chats, appreciate the love coming from him. All donations appreciated and welcome. Thank you guys, the fans, for making this show what it is. Hit that like button too. Run those likes up. Give a like on the show. Make this your network platform channel space to talk Bama. Call topic here. I mentioned this, Eli. Alabama had several players in street clothes against Mississippi State that did not play. Two of those guys, Jaheim Otis and DJ Dale, did not play. According to Coach Saban in the postgame presser, both players listed as day-to-day. Alabama hopeful to get one of these guys back soon, if not both. Kind of too soon to tell right now, but they're both listed as day-to-day. Now, Jaheim Otis posted on his Twitter today, alerting the fans that he will be right back. That was Jaheim Otis making that post there to social media. So we'll see which one of these two comes back first here in terms of health of the Crimson Tide on the defensive line. But we'll take our final break here, folks. When we get back, we'll talk about this. Has the Tide now found its two lockdown corners to create havoc for the rest of the season? We'll get into it after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back into the action from the break on the hottest show on the streets here, talking your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith here at TDA Crimson Tide, Nick Saban on a bye week. We here, Eli Walker, myself, still putting in work. Team no sleep here when it comes down to us. Continue hitting that like button, running those likes up, giving us a thumbs up here on the show. All donations welcome. All donations appreciated. Thanks to you, the Bama Nation, for making this show what it is. Also got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That's TDAwear.com. So for all of your swagger, sauce, drip, clothing, cultural fashion needs, check us out right here. TDAwear.com, making sure one-stop shop for all things Bama clothing, Bama gear. Get you that gear right now. I know it's late in the season. I get it. 8 games in. But still, time to get the gear. Whether you want the t-shirts, the hoodies, joggers, and whatever you feeling. Still time. Time has not ran out. Still time to get that gear. Link in the description there. Feel the support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Also, tomorrow, streaming live, 6 p.m. Central Time on TDA's YouTube channel. Don't forget about the Bama Standard with Justin Riley, comedy legend Steve Brown, all-SEC linebacker, Bama legend Marvin Constant, two-time national championship running back, USFL champion Bo Scarborough. Check us out tomorrow. The Bama Standard, streaming live here, PDA's YouTube channel, 6 p.m. Central Time. But now, Eli, we get into the defensive backs for Alabama, primarily the cornerbacks. And question, has Alabama found its two shutdown, lockdown, elite-level corners that can take away sides of the field? And I'm not going to try to hype this up at all. I'm not going to try to do that. But I know it was one game. It was against an SEC team that likes to throw the football. I was impressed with Eli Ricks and Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think these two, both former 5-stars, both long, athletic, both can run, both play physical, both have this kind of dog mentality about themselves. I think Alabama has two really good corners here, Eli. I think they've got two really good corners. Starting this thing off with Kool-Aid McKinstry, he's growing. Kool-Aid is growing as a shutdown guy. Remember, against Arkansas, he played well. Yes, he got hit with one pass interference, but he played well. And he carried that into A&M. Tennessee didn't even go after Kool-Aid for real because he played well in that game. And against Mississippi State, the brother had 4 pass breakups and almost had an insane circus pick. Like, Kool-Aid's growing. I don't understand why you have some out there that trash Kool-Aid. I mean, he's growing. If you go to Pro Football Focus, a site that dives into the analytics of college and pro players, Kool-Aid's grade and coverage on PFF is a 75? Pretty darn good. And that's like in 252 pass coverage snaps. And his grade is a 75.7, if I'm quoting that correctly. That's pretty good. Kool-Aid's growing as a DB. Kool-Aid's growing as an cover corner, as a potential sort of shutdown guy. He's growing in that role. I think Kool-Aid leads the team with 11 pass breakups? I mean, give that young man his respect. He growing. Now, Eli Ricks here, I mean, we saw him at LSU do his thing. We saw this in 2020 where he had, 4 picks, 2 return for touchdowns. All freshman team, freshman All-American. Yeah, Eli Ricks was doing that. And at 6'2", 190 pounds, long, rangy, athletic, wingspan, can just disrupt receivers. Against the Bulldogs, when he had 4 pass breakups, but he had plays where his arms were so long, they got in between the receiver and the football, and Ricks was just disrupting plays. He almost had a pick as well against the Bulldogs. So when you have both of those two, Kool-Aid and Ricks playing well, playing tip-top ball, look at how this influences Jordan Battle. Look at how this influences DeMarco Hellams, Brian Branch, Malachi Moore, Terrion Arnold. Look at how this influences all those guys. Because when you got your 2 boundary corners playing lights out, man, it makes the job of the secondary so much easier. It's so much more fun. So, not overly hyping this at all. I'm just saying, Kool-Aid McKinstry, if you look at the tape, the numbers, he's growing as a shutdown corner. And if we saw what Eli Ricks did at LSU, and if what he did Saturday, this past week, is any indication of what's to come, okay. Okay. We know we got the bacon in this grease here. Okay. If that's any indication, all right. We know exactly what's going on here. But As always, Tide Nation, you want the best in news, notes, information, coverage, entertainment on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can check this out by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You do this by downloading the app from the iPhone App Store, your rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store, if you just so happen to have the Android phone. Now, for your audio needs, we got you covered. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, Google Play, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered there. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Wednesday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, here is what you do. You go to touchdownalabama.com, you click join, become a member or a subscriber today. That link in the description also. If you're trying to get the four-finger bling necklace, four-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at We Own, thefourthquarter.com. That link in the description as well. Be reminded, fans, tomorrow, streaming live right here, 6 p.m., TDA YouTube channel. Don't forget the Bama Standard with Justin Riley, comedy legend Steve Brown, all-SEC linebacker and Bama great Marvin Constant, USFL champion, two-time national champion for Alabama running back Bo Scarborough. Check those guys out. Tomorrow, streaming right here, PDA YouTube channel, the Bama Standard. Guys, shout out you guys, the outstanding fans of Crimson Tide football. All the likes, all the donations, all the dialogue, all the conversations. Appreciate you guys making this show what it is. Gotta show some love to my producer, Eli Walker, in the production studio, doing his thing. Eli gets to enjoy this bye week. My man been putting in that work. Like Rihanna. Well, not like Rihanna, but Eli been putting in that work, though. But appreciate him for all that he does, helping us out here and trying to keep me in line as well. But until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, you guys continue doing the right thing, smart thing, fun thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored there. Be sure to get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to my own words.